Here's a quick trivia question for you. Which 80s star got his first break when a television executive watched him in a professional boxing fight, which he won?
Webster?
No.
Gary Coleman from Different Strokes?
No! Oh. I'll give you a clue. Okay. His most famous role was as a housekeeper.
Not...
Yes! Tony Danza!
Well, no, actually, I just came from my exercise.
In 1984, Tony Danza was hot property.
Wow. There are ways to relieve tension. Lots of ways.
How many ways?
1, 2, 3. Who's the Boss was a big hit, and this beefy bloke from Brooklyn was having the time of his life.
Hey, kids, 3 white wines coming up, babe. Oh, yeah.
The show had an odd premise. Danza played Tony Maselli, a retired baseballer who leaves the city with his daughter to become a live-in housekeeper with a rich, attractive and divorced advertising executive.
No, wait a minute. Sit down.
A young Alyssa Milano played Tony's daughter Samantha.
Let's face it, you're on thin ice. Who do you think you are?
Judith Light was Tony's boss, the stressed overachiever Angela Bowes.
Anybody home?
And Catherine Hellman almost stole the show as Angela's man-eating mother, Mona.
Hi, stud.
But it all could have been very different. Tony had a choice of 3 shows at the time.
In one, I was a tough New York City detective. In another, I was a daring helicopter pilot. And in the third, I was a housekeeper for a woman and her mother. And I looked at my agent, I said, I think The Housekeeper's the best show. So here I am.
Danza's first acting job was on the hit series Taxi. He was discovered in the boxing ring.
Boxing is a very tough way to make a living and not good for your head. You know, I was lucky. I had 15 fights. Most of them were quick, one way or the other. And then I got this, this great career out of it. But if I had stayed a boxer and I didn't become champion of the world, or even if I had, this would be a very different conversation.
Who said this ain't a great time of the year for a barbecue?
There was no biff on Who's the Boss, but Tony Maselli and Tony Danza shared more than a first name.
Well, he's me in a good mood. He's basically me in a good mood,
I'm your happy hooch, man. What'll it be?
And the other thing was I really thought it was an important character. He was a father, a single father with a daughter. There was a responsibility to show, the love and the way, the way I see a relationship between a father and a daughter.
You're right. You're tough, but you're right. Thanks, Sam. You really helped me straighten this one out.
That's why you pay me the big allowance.
And I'm very proud to say a lot of kids come up to me sometimes in their 20s and say, geez, I wished you were my father, or I thought it's wild. It's really wild.
After going from boxer to taxi driver to hunky housekeeper, Danza took another left turn.
When I want rain,
becoming a singer.
I get sunny weather. I'm just as blue as the sky. 12 years ago, if you'd have said to me how to sing in public, I would say, I don't know if I could do that.
You and me, oh, a guarantee, oh.
I sing everywhere now. I sing everywhere. I'm like ridiculous.
Tony's latest gig is working on Broadway, playing Max in the hit musical The Producers.
This is weird for a white guy to say, but have you noticed he's talking a lot less black lately?
He also had a role in the Oscar-winning film Crash.
Is there a problem, Cap?
What's next? It might be something Hawaiian.
My new thing is my ukulele. I wish I had brought it. And I play and sing with the ukulele. It's fabulous.